Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of World Talks here on TVP World. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and please join me and my guests on this next interview. From new U.S.-Ukraine drone deals to a sweeping cabinet reshuffle in Kyiv, Ukraine is entering a new phase of war management and reconstruction. While President Zelenskyy consolidates his team, questions arise over military strategy, defense partnerships, and growing concerns about political centralization. All this as Russia steps up attack and Ukraine prepared to receive Patriot systems. Joining us now are Ukrainian MPs Yevheniia Kravchuk, servant of the People Party, and a deputy chair of a committee on humanitarian and information policy in Ukraine, as well as Oleksiy Goncharenko from the European Solidarity Party. Hello and welcome to TVP World.
Good morning.
So, Ms. Kravchuk, can you help us understand this new prime minister change? Do you think that this is more of a reshuffling just to inject new blood, new energy into the Ukrainian political system, or is there a broader strategy at play here?
Well, first of all, if you look at the ministers that became ministers, it's either those who are holding positions and proved to be effective, or those who are actually climbing up and also proved to be effective on their previous positions. And I can understand the new prime minister, and I welcome her appointment to give more responsibilities to those who, for example, were very successful during the negotiations on the minerals deal with United States. Because if you look at on that team, all of them received new positions. I do welcome the decision of the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelenskyy, to propose a new job to former Prime Minister Mr. Shmyhal. Now he holds position of the Minister of Defense, but also combining the Minister on strategic industries, basically the production of the weapons. So everything that's needed for the war, for the army, at least in the military capacities, it's now under a former prime minister, and he's a good manager. He was thanked for this long 5 years during COVID, during the start of the full-scale invasion, and these 3+ years of the full-scale invasion, and I'm sure that he can prove his efficiency on a new position. But also we see the less ministries in the cabinet of ministers. Hopefully it will be also less bureaucracy, and I have some good feelings about this, because the first vice prime minister is now the Minister of Digitalization, and now in all ministries it's a top priority to have less state in different procedures, and to have deregulation and less paperwork, less bureaucracy. So hopefully it will give new impulse to the work of the cabinet of ministers and make it more efficient.
Right, Mr. Goncharenko, now when we are looking at this new role switch within the Ukrainian government, a lot of people are trying to kind of read the tea leaves a little bit, and international pundits as well as analysts from the West are looking at this as perhaps a strategy to, like Ms. Kravchuk just mentioned, promote those that have a contribution to the mineral deal that will probably make it drive better with the U.S. administration. But some Ukrainian people that I've interviewed also said that this has more to do with kind of shifting the internal dynamics and also to avoid the stagnation of, well, the prime minister having been there for a very long time. Do you think that this is mostly an internal change, or do you think that there is some validity to the possibility that this is a move as an attempt to perhaps cooperate with the Trump administration?
Hello. First of all, you shouldn't wait a lot from this change, because what was situation before yesterday? Mrs. Sviridенko, she was number 2 in the government. She was first vice prime minister. Mr. Shmyhal was number 1 in the government. Now she's number 1, and Mr. Shmyhal is in reality number 2, because Minister of Defense and Minister of Defensive Production, it means a lot. It's the most important ministry in Ukraine today in time of full-scale war. So it's not a real change. If the idea was to show that there is no stagnation, I think it failed. In general, I can't understand what was the reason behind all this change, because it's the same people. Just some people moved to another positions. That's it. Almost nobody disappeared except Vice Prime Minister Chernyshov, who was accused in corruption. And maybe this is the reason to change the government, just to lose Mr. Chernyshov, showing, okay, he doesn't exist anymore as a member of the government. Maybe this was a real reason, because I really can't understand any other reasons behind this.
All right, Mr. Kravchuk, there's also some controversy involving the Ukrainian president as well. The Financial Times recently reported that an anti-corruption raid on activist Vitaly Shabunin and also the ex-minister as well, along with the sidelining of a lot of more independent appointments and the elevation of loyalists, has sparked some concerns about the centralization of power. Do you think that these accusations are founded?
We are monomajority in the terms of the coalition. So officially, it is the monomajority. Of course, there were some other votes on the government, and basically only, I think, two fractions, maybe Oleksiy will follow it more, but I think only two fractions that didn't give any votes on the cabinet ministers. So, and 70% of the people actually doesn't have an aim to vote with the minimum possible amount of votes for any of the decisions. We're happy when we see on the screen not just 226, but 260, 270, or even 300 votes. We do take decisions, a lot of decisions that take actually a constitutional majority, although it doesn't have to be the constitutional majority, because we cannot and do not have to change the constitution during the martial law. I mean, Oleksiy is one of the biggest critics of the government and for internal affairs, of course. In external affairs, we do keep the one voice, and I think it's very important. So there is criticizing in the parliament. Everyone could ask the questions, even to the president of Ukraine yesterday during the whole procedure. So of course, I cannot say that it's 100% ideal. There are some mistakes, but these mistakes have to be corrected. Regarding the anti-corruption structure, we have probably the biggest anti-corruption structure of all of the European countries. Those who are in EU, those who are candidates to the EU, and actually, we would like to see a more efficient work of all these agencies, because we have, special anti-corruption agency, bureau, special prosecutor office for anti-corruption. We have the court, and they need to deliver, and they are independent, and they have voted the chairs of these, all of these organizations, all of these structures by independent votes of the supervisory boards.
All right. Well, I wanted to shift gears a little bit as well. We have a little bit of time, Mr. Goncharenko. I'm also very curious about the recent Patriot system kind of announcement that NATO is fully prepared to provide Ukraine with a system and a transfer of U.S. weapons, of course, in a very coordinated way. What concrete operational impact do you expect these systems to have when it comes to defending Ukraine's air capabilities?
I can't ignore your previous question.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm addressing this to Mr.
Because I have to leave in 2 minutes. If you allow me, just say 1 minute,
Sure.
and unfortunately I have another obligation, another interview. We do not see a problem of any of the way how the Patriot systems will be delivered through concrete country. It would be a coalition of the NATO countries. It just has to be delivered on the ground. We're happy that we see other signals coming from the White House and Washington, D.C. than we heard it a few months ago. And yes, we lost more lives, we lost more soldiers while waiting for it. But, hopefully it will be decided. And we do hope that our partners in Europe, and they do understand the threat coming from the Russian Federation, since we are on the same continent, and we feel that they will be deeply involved in buying of the weapons, but also
Right.
transferring. But also it will
Thanks so much, but we are very short on time, and we would really want to get Mr. Goncharenko's perspective on this as well. So thank you so much for being with us also. I really appreciate it. Sir, can you help us give us your insight?
Yeah, first, I can't ignore your previous question, and I want to tell you the truth. There are clear authoritarian tendencies in Ukraine. Unfortunately, President Zelenskyy is becoming more and more autocratic. More than 3 years of martial law time. It's a very bad time for democracy in any way. And unfortunately, government got used not to be asked about almost anything. And this is a very bad habit, and this is a very bad tendency. And what you said and what international media already are writing, unfortunately, this is true. And we see more and more proofs of this. This is a big problem. Answering your question about Patriot systems, definitely, we need them, as many as possible. We are waiting for them. Each one of them is just, somebody is saying it costs $1 billion or $1.5 billion. In Ukraine, we have another estimations. One system costs hundreds of lives. That is an estimation. So we desperately need them. And I hope our allies, including Poland, will continue to support us, because what we are doing, we're keeping these barbarians away from Europe.
Right, thank you so much. And I think that really puts things into perspective. These are not just weapon systems. These are also being counted with Ukrainian lives. Thank you so much for your input and insights, sir. Really appreciate it. Thanks for being with us. Cheers. And thank you for tuning into this edition of World Talks. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.